I just want to, before we get started, address the fact that there was another round of layoffs at Bungie and how awful that is and how unbelievably frustrating it is. And I am also just a player who makes videos. I am not one of the people that was actually laid off. So I can't really put into words how awful this is and how completely fucking stupid this all is, but I just want to address the fact that this just happened. All of this was recorded before the news broke about the layoffs, and I am not an informed individual, and I am not somebody who can speak to anything specific other than my deepest sympathies for those laid off, and Pete Parsons needs to step down. Sorry for opening with a downer. Let's get to the video. What's good, gamers? Little941 here, back with another actually edited video and not just crap from an Elden Ring highlight. Today we're going to be going over another ARC Legendary Pulse Rifle, because I apparently just really love those, the Corrasion. But before we get started, if y'all could click the like, hit the subscribe as well, that'd be really cool. I put out 2 videos a week, Tuesdays and Fridays at noon Eastern. Lately, it's been a lot of Elden Ring DLC stuff, but once that's all done, we're going to get back to the regularly scheduled programming of mediocre opinion pieces. So, thanks! To the Corrasion. Well, what is it? Well, it's a 395 RPM heavy burst pulse rifle that does arc damage. The other 2 legendary options are Nullify from Salvation's Edge and Aisha's Care from Trials, both of which I have not gotten, so I can't speak to them specifically. Corrasion has the lowest base stats of the 3, which really shouldn't come as a surprise, as it is the easiest to acquire weapon of the bunch. It's an episodic weapon, if that's what we're calling them now. Just run Echo's content and spend engrams to get your 5 red borders. As far as this new, in quotes, archetype goes, I adore it. I love the way the heavy burst mode felt on Revision 0, and this feels right at home in my arsenal. On the opposite side, though, this is clearly a PvE weapon, and we don't do PvE reviews here, so the unique niche that it fills isn't something that I can really take advantage of in the Crucible, but we'll get to that later when I go over perks. Aesthetically, I really like the firing sound. It's very clean, it's hard to notice, unlike the gun's model, which is, why does it have fins? Look, this thing looks very Vex, I get the point, but between the jet turbine for a barrel and the very high sight, it just looks very odd, very unwieldy, clunky-ass weapon. I don't know, not something that I would want to hold. The sight itself, though, is just fine. It's a very clear target picture, not a whole lot of peripheral vision. It's fine, it's like a hollow sight. Those, you know, if you played any other shooter, you know what I'm talking about. So let's get into the perk options, see what we're working with. In column 3, we've got Air Trigger, Perfect Float, Pugilist, Eddy Current, Enlightened Action, Perpetual Motion, and High Impact Reserves. Let's see here. Air Trigger. I don't really see a use case for this perk, unless it's on a rocket or a GL where target acquisition doesn't matter, and the Reserves buff is very welcome. Not something I want on a primary weapon. Perfect Float. Like always, flinch resist good, jump shots bad. Pugilist is great if you're melee heavy. As always, pair it with Swash and 4 if you want to, but otherwise don't really bother. Eddy Current is a perk that I don't really think is worth investing in. Being amplified is cool and all, but reloading specifically after sprinting just doesn't seem like something I want to invest in. It's already really easy to reload with other options, not even perks on the gun itself, so I wouldn't really bother. Enlightened Action is the second best option here, and it's perfectly understandable if it's your preferred. 50 reloaded handling at max stacks is nothing to scoff at, so it's not that bad. Well, that was the second. Perpetual Motion is my number 1, because it also gives stability instead of just handling and reload, and that's real impactful in duels. If you just tap strike, you'll keep it active. And while having a very low mag size of 18, High Impact Reserves is really easy to proc, but it's a 3 to 6% damage buff, so I wouldn't even want to bother investing. I don't want to think about bothering to invest. Nothing really crazy. For PvP in column 3, your best options are Enlightened and Perpetual, constantly active when using a gun at all, no thought behind it, Pugilist if you're going melee heavy. In column 4, you've got High Ground, Eye of the Storm, Frenzy, Swashbuckler, Volt Shot, One for All, and Focused Fury. So, High Ground is a little weird actually. I originally was like, yeah, don't worry about it, but they've since changed how the perk works. Giving a damage buff for just damaging targets from an elevated position is pretty easy to take advantage of. It's 15%, and that is enough to take 1 shot off your optimal time to kill at all effective resiliences, so it's not useless. And the activation requirement is pretty light if you take advantage of a latency-induced bug. Specifically, if you jump the game will sometimes think that you're not jumping yet, and it'll give you the boost. I'm not a big fan of bug abuse, so I wouldn't recommend doing this. Not that they're going to give you shit for it, because it's a latency problem. 15% damage without having to get a kill is pretty nice. It's pretty easy. It's kind of like having target lock, but a little bit stronger, because it's an outright boost instead of like small incremental stuff per shot, and you can miss. So, I don't know, working as intended, I'd rather have a perk that doesn't have as stringent positioning requirements. It's a good step in the right direction for bringing into usability, though. Eye of the Storm, I love this perk. It's great for dueling, great for fighting through flinch, very easy to take advantage of. I love this perk. If I ever get any kind of creator merch, I should sell a shirt that says Frenzy isn't a PvP perk. Swashbuckler, just pair with Pugilist. Getting a melee kill brings you to 4 to the head, 1 to the body against tier 10 Resil. That's quite useful. Volt Shot is the perk that this gun seems to be built around, which is why I said Corrasion isn't a PvP gun. A bunch of reload perks in column 3, all meant to assist Volt Shot and proccing off cooldown, solidify this weapon as a jolt plier more than anything else, and that's not really going to work all that well in PvP. People die too fast for that to matter. Maybe if they're all standing on top of each other and you want to get a really cool chain kill, great, but you can't one-tap jolt people. They need to be weak first. It's not something you're going to really be able to take advantage of all that much in PvP, unfortunately. Don't bother with One for All. It's a waste. It's just straight up a waste. Focus Tree might have something here. Small mag size means it takes about 9 shots to get it off the ground, but since it takes 5 to 6 crits to get a kill on average, I don't know. If you play weird or slow, I can see the potential, but I hate slow play, so I wouldn't really want to bother with that. Eye of the Storm is most definitely your best option. Slap it on this thing and you'll keep on target through flinch. Amazing dueling option, and with so much random bullshit coming from abilities as is lately, you'll probably be at the threshold before the buff deactivates very often. So why not take advantage of that? Be more accurate, have really good handling. It's great. I could talk about the Origin trait, but I haven't seen it proc in PvP. Or if I have, it hasn't mattered or done damage. No experience, can't speak to it. As Kepri Smite would say, VVGT. I will not apologize for that joke. 2-round pulses sit in this interesting spot between high-impact pulses and 140 hand cannons, where the playstyle is very hand cannon, but the range is very pulse. It's very precise and has a decent amount of range, but it's also heavily punished for missing even a single shot. Because those shots come out fast, so if you miss the first one, you're probably going to miss the second one too, and that's one burst completely wasted. As a result, I could have easily paired this with the Multimach again, but I'm making an effort to generate a variety of clips and showcase different guns. So I went digging through my vault to find something new I've not shown before. You've already seen it if you're paying attention to the clips, but Michael's Reverence. The rapid sidearm from Root of Nightmares fit in perfectly. It's strand, so it fills the darkness Transcendence bar pretty quickly, covers the weaker close-range performance heavy burst pulse rifles have, and is probably the only rapid sidearm I actually enjoy. I always feel like I'd be better off just using an SMG whenever I try to use one, but Michael's overperforms compared to the rest, if only it didn't look so fucking awkward. Other close-range darkness options would have fit well too. Peace Bond, Old Sterling, Unending Tempest, Imminence if you have one, Collective Obligation and other shotguns work as well, close-range stuff, you know the deal, it's an arc pulse, backwards synergy is always good. Overall, I love this archetype of pulse rifle. This isn't going to beat out Revision 0, or should it, but it is in a different slot and allows for other exotic flexibility, despite my not using exotics in these clips. It most definitely will not outgun Anisha's Care in the head-to-head matchup, but that one's explicitly built for PvP. This gun is acceptable as the only legendary option available to somebody unlucky enough or unable to get the other two. This is good enough. It's not crazy good, nothing amazing. This is good enough. I personally like it, but that doesn't mean that it's stellar, best gun in the game. Everybody should drop their fucking pants for this. Like, this is good enough. But with that, that's gonna do it for me today. I don't know. What are you all thinking? Do you like this gun? Do you hate this gun? Is it worth it for you? Do you think I'm stupid for not using Volt Shot in PvP? Let me know what you're thinking in those comments down below. Thank you very much for watching. Have a wonderful day.
Your enemy can't kill if they're dead. 1 minute. You have this. Zone A captured. Zone advantage is yours.